So, lads, one entire week ago, well, I don't know, sometime last week, I made a video talking about the Indiana Fever and basically how the Fever fans just are undefeated. They're undefeated. Obviously, the Indiana Fever were up for a few internet web-based awards, and there was a voting system. And turned out Indiana won as expected. Well, the Fever won as expected. Fever were in third place, and the Fever fans got wind that it was things were going strong, and they ended up winning. And if you agree the Fever fans are crazy, subscribe. We're only 28 subscribers off 44.5k. Our goal is still to hit 45k by the start of the season, but who knows? We might actually be able to hit that by the freaking first preseason game. But anyway, with this right here, it was the old Webby Awards. And look, I don't know how prestigious these awards are, but I do know the Fever wanted to win them. I do know the Fever wanted to win them. And as you can see right here, they won one award. They won two awards, but they won an award for the Indiana Fever action figure. So the Fever and Pacers posted this kind of TikTok where Caitlin Clark was like an action figure. And then Rookie of the Year campaign, they posted this as well. But obviously I'm covering it. I was just scrolling through Twitter and saw Ken Swift posting about it and basically about them being robbed. And I don't understand what the point was of there being a fan vote without like an actual like, oh, a fan vote is this amount of like this percentage of it, because the Indiana Fever vote, by the end of things, when it came to the vote for the campaign, which we were voting on, the Fever ended up with 55%. And in fact, instead of giving them an award, they gave them the they gave them the People's Choice, their People's Voice winner. And in fairness, at least it was something. At least it wasn't completely ignored when they chose something else. But man, like, robbed. That's all I'm gonna say. Robbed. Supposedly the fan vote didn't mean anything. The fan vote did not mean anything. Obviously, the tweet from Ken Swift right here, that was 1 hour ago. And at the time of recording this, it is 8:16 p.m. Irish time. But obviously, you're seeing here with Ken Swift, the Fever robbed Webby Award they received the most votes for. They were represented and supported like they usually do. The voting didn't matter, even if they were in first. The media team knows what's up. They're our winners and appreciate the amazing content. And regardless, they still did win the vote. Which is obviously a very important thing, a big thing, realistically winning it. Because even though, look, is it the biggest deal in the world? Is a Webby the biggest deal in the world? Of course Webby's not the biggest deal in the world. Let's be real. Of course, a Webby doesn't mean much. But at least if you're not going to go and give the Fever the award, they at least said the People's Voice Award because they won the fan vote. At least it was something. Obviously, this is Pat Boylan. We greatly appreciate all the votes. Frustrating to have the most votes and not win. I guess other factors are at play. Our group took home 2 Webbies, of which they're super deserving of, which is good. And to be fair, when it comes to the social media team, I have to say the Fever are doing a good job, even when it comes to like introducing all their players, making the videos for every single one of their players, and not just highlight tapes, like making breakdowns of all their players. And there aren't other teams doing that. They're genuinely aren't like genuinely they're not they're not doing what the Fever are doing. And in fairness, like, I think the Mercury are doing a decent job of promotion. I think the Wings, in fairness, did a good job of promotion. I think people credit a lot of that to Amber Cox, who now is a Indiana Fever like GM. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen next season when it comes to the Fever. And I think the one thing you always say with the Fever is they're now, when it comes to how the team is ran, it's being ran as an equivalent to the Pacers almost. Like, obviously, look, there's going to be bigger money in the Pacers, all of this type of thing. So I'm not going to say it's being ran exactly like the Pacers. But at the same time, when we're looking at how WNBA teams are being ran, it's being ran at a really high rate, in a really high level, if we're being honest. Especially in comparison to when we look at the Sky. Well, the Sky's actually getting better, in fairness. But when we look at, say, the the Sun, the Mystics, the Dream. Like, there's a lot of teams that aren't ran particularly well. Let's be honest. But yeah, it's a bit of a disappointing one. A bit of a disappointing one for the Indiana Fever, because it was looking like they had won. It was looking like that it won. And look, whatever these awards were, I know that the Fever social media team wanted to win them. So obviously it matters to them. But at least at the end of the day, they won one straight outright, and at least won one as a People's Voice winner. Again, I don't know how big it is. But what it did show is, by the way, if you guys did not see, 55% of the vote. The Fever had, like, the Indiana Fever voting had like 20%. They were in third place in the fan vote in this. They were not even in, I think they were in third place of the fan vote when the old Caitlin Clark Football Club got word of it. And there's so many people in that team that I can guarantee you, if the best 11 of them went out onto a football pitch, they would be at worst a semi-professional football team. But once that they got word of it, it was immediately went from them being in third place to having 50% of the overall vote. 50% of the overall vote, which is mental. Absolutely mental. So, yeah, like, regardless, this is, again, I always compare it to, like, the Swifties or the K-pop fans. Or the Georgian fans when Jaja Pachulia got the All-Star nod that year. With all of these players, or with all of these things, like, there is genuinely, it's like, it's an anomaly. Or you could say the anomaly, aka what Al Duncan's calling Caitlin Clark. But it's like, there are very few things in life that their fans like gravitate, that you can get fans out in so much numbers. And in sport, it is extremely rare. Most of the time when it comes to that type of fandom, it is in celebrity culture. And ironically, this fandom is surrounding a sports player who is the opposite of being in celebrity culture. Like, a sports person who just kind of is pretty much, outside of a couple of speaking gigs, is doing the exact same thing day to day, or most of the same things day to day as they did before they got big, which ironically is probably the reason why Caitlin Clark is popular, a big reason for why she's as popular as she is. Anyway, yeah, congratulations to the Fever team on winning one People's Voice Award in the Webbies and one Webby winner. And unfortunately, they just went with somebody else. But anyway, that's the video. I'll see you guys.